Alright, so for my curriculum review, I was reviewing the one for grade 6. And I'm just going to leave the PowerPoint like this because I'll be flicking through documents. So for the description, how I would describe it, I'm going to open it up. It's a curriculum for grade 6, and it's a STEM curriculum that talks a lot about technology and the uses of it, and like right here, the big ideas, the nature of it, how it fits in with society, and all that fun stuff. And ultimately, they're going to have a final design challenge of making a automata or a bot that either educates the people about the impact of technology on the environment, or they propose a way to reduce the impact of technology on the environment. So it's really organized, which I like. It has the objectives of all the lessons, and then it goes into the standards, and they use a lot of standards from all the contents. So they have literacy, and then they have language arts, which includes reading and writing, and then they have presentation standards like speaking and listening, and then they get into the engineering standards and the Common Core for math and all that. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint and just say some of the things what I like about it. The benefits, looking at just the objectives of that curriculum, they do a really good job of building off of each other, which is what a unit should do. Like, it shouldn't be all of this and that. Like, it incorporates, each lesson incorporates something else from the previous one, and then it builds up to then have that lesson, and then it leads into the next one really smoothly. The final design challenge, which I'll pull up next, it did a really good job of wrapping up the unit using all the STEM skills that the students could accurately demonstrate what they learned. So I'll just pull that up. This is what it looks like. So like I said, this is about technology, and they're going to create a bot that educates about the impact of humans and technology on the environment, or a new idea on how to use technology to reduce human impact. Then there's the criteria. They have mechanical, electrical, and software criteria, and then it goes into how they're graded. So like the novice, apprentice, practitioner, expert, and what the criteria are for that, and how a student would achieve those levels. The overall organization of the curriculum would be really helpful for me if I was using this in my classroom, just because everything's clearly labeled. And I'll go back to the curriculum real quick. Scrolling down further, getting into like the actual lesson, they're very, very detailed. I think I started in the middle one. So they have the big idea and the understanding and the purpose, the time, the highlights, the standards, and the benchmarks that are included in the lesson. Then you get into the objectives and any resources that are used, and then what the assessment was going to be, and you get into the plan. So everything's really clear and precise, which I really like, and I would really like using as a teacher, because then I would know, I would have all this to refer back to when I'm teaching it, so then I can match this as best as possible. Another benefit, I think, like, well, it may seem a little too dragged out because there's over 15 lessons in this whole curriculum, but I think the concept of technology, it's pretty intense, so it's good that the students are able to get plenty of time to learn and plenty of time to stretch out and really take their time to focus on the engineering process and all that to really benefit from this curriculum. Some of the concerns I had, like, it could definitely be a bit more descriptive with some of the things. For example, I had no idea what this KWH LAQ chart was. Like, I've heard of a KWL chart, but I had to click on the link that the document provided to actually see what all the other letters stood for. I just think from a teacher's standpoint, I would want to have that written out in the lesson itself so that I wouldn't have to look at the document, so I could at least have an idea first. At the end of this unit, they have a summative assessment, and it's a multiple choice test along with a design challenge. I'm not a fan of that. I don't really like tests unless they're absolutely necessary. I don't think that would be, it would not, or I don't think it would be a good representation of whether the student really understands the concept, especially for a STEM unit. Because, like, if I feel as though for a STEM unit, you should be assessed with a STEM product. So the design challenge, I think, would be better so that the students are implementing the design process in their engineering and using the science and the math that they already learned to create this product that could actually have some use. So I'm also going to pull up the multiple choice test just so you could see the idea of it. So these are really basic questions that are just comprehension, and I understand that's important, but at the same time, if they're making the design challenge, they are already going to have, or hopefully have, the basic comprehension that they need for the content that was presented to them throughout this entire curriculum. It doesn't include a lot of whole external materials. It's only concerning to me because I feel like there should be something that maybe isn't used during a lesson, but it could be used for support if the students needed it. And then finally, as a special ed major, I didn't see any description of accommodations that might need to be made for students. I understand there's a lot of variables to this depending on the students that are in the class, but I think that there should be at least a guideline